1985, which I would have been in college back then, my parents were talking about, we were coming to visit my grandparents. And my grandparents lived right down the road from here. And my father grew up in Green Creek, which is right down the road, about 6 miles. And we came to visit over the holidays, and Mom told me that we were going to look at this plantation house. And I was very confused because I had never heard about it. And she said that her grandfather had always wanted to own it, and they wanted to take a look at it. It was standing abandoned. So here we go. We look at this, a 42-room house, a 10,000 square foot house, and it was in horrific shape. I looked at her and I said, why in the world are we looking at a 42-room haunted house in the middle of North Carolina? And she was saying they were talking about buying it. I said, you can count me out of this. This looks like nothing but a bunch of work. And it is. So they put an offer on the house in 1985. The offer was turned down. And in 1987, they received a phone call and they were asked if they still had interest in the house. And according to my mom, the way she tells it is that it took them 15 minutes to make the decision that they were going to buy it. My dad's parents actually provided the down payment for the house, and they were able to pay them back later for that. But that helped them to be able to get the ball rolling, get it in place, and then they were able to secure the loan on it. This was the first time that the house was ever opened to the public. So back then, you're talking like around 1990 is when they got it open. You started seeing just hundreds and hundreds of people wanting to go through the house. Then 1998, I decided, I had moved away, and then I decided I would come back. I started working doing all the catering. I take care of the property as well as the catering. And it's a lot of work, but it's a project of love for sure. So I'm hoping, I can't really get all the way out there. We had this section dug out with a backhoe. I hired somebody to come in and dig that out years ago. And there is like a sandbar kind of thing that goes straight across here. And so these are literally moving, and they're going to connect with those. I got rid of those over there about a year or two ago, and now they've come back. So, I don't know how far I'll get with this, but I've got to get these pods out of here. Minimally, I've got to step out there and cut the pods off, if nothing else, right? Yeah. If you take a look out there, you'll see just how many. See, I don't think they're ready to break open, but there's probably 50 seeds in each one of those pods. Too bad you can't eat them like okra. Second project of the day, go from the pond to the steps. That's about all I got to say.
Alarm goes off at 4:45. Roll out of bed, rub the sleep from my eyes. Throw on a shirt and some jeans and my boots, and then it's time to make that morning drive. Work all day till I'm totally beat. Get back home and fall right to sleep. Alarm goes off in the morning and the cycle's complete. Work, sleep, repeat. Yesterday I was 17, running bootlegs and draws and screens. Now I'm running up debt and I'm scrambling to make ends meet. So work, sleep, repeat. Yeah, work, sleep, that's all I ever do anymore. Somewhere up the line I forgot what I was working for. Yeah, there goes life, looks like it ain't slowing down for me. All I ever do is work, sleep, repeat.
Go back in there and help it. I keep trying to throw level on it. A little bit safer. So what I'm doing today is I'm trying to unearth this sidewalk that we suspect that this was probably installed sometime after the Civil War. If you'll notice they're small river rocks, which the river is about a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile from here. So I guess they went over and got them and installed them as a pathway. This was kind of the workroom area down here. So we think this was installed as a walkway. In 1998 is when Mom started calling saying they were getting more weddings. Dad and I talked about opening the catering company or the Green River Plantation Company. She's like, I need a caterer, but she didn't have enough work to have a caterer here full time. And she tried letting people do their own catering, and a lot of her items got stolen, or they just wouldn't leave the facility in good shape, so that wasn't working. So she asked me to come up. My dad was real happy when I came up. I actually got closer to my dad when I moved here, because I got to learn things. I learned how to repair plumbing. I learned how to repair electrical. Learned how to work on tractors. I find out now why the man knew how to do everything. He had to. He didn't have any choice. The building I'm sitting in front of is actually the gatehouse, which my parents built the gatehouse in 1996. It was not really prepared for a catering company, so Dad assisted in helping me get the kitchen put together, getting inspections done and things like that. And he also showed me how to run the company, which I never really understood how important that was, but until years later. But in 1999, I did 42 weddings, which is just absolutely incredible. We went from 10 weddings and jumped up to 42 weddings. And the only way I made it was the fact that we have an incredible staff. Our staff, some of them have been here since the beginning. Miss Linda would help me with the catering and the linens, getting the rooms ready, and she still does. She does amazing. And all of her kids, I would call upon her. I'd say, Linda, I've got a job coming up next week. I need 3 people. And she'd call me back. She'd say, I got you covered. These people are like my family. They're here right with me working. In addition to my family, I have a second family.
I don't cry when it rains no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you.